bought into, and the stock that's really racing away is Tata Motors. Remember, it's been a rank underperformer. If the entire global trouble is going to get resolved, then the Chinese part of their business, which has been the business that has been struggling, that'll improve. That's the hope, at least, that the trade dispute will be settled. And if that takes place, then Tata Motors could be a stock that you'll be looking at. Valuation wise, it's been cheap, but that's never been the problem. The problem has been that the JLR sales haven't been growing and the big debt in their books as well. For the time being, the stock at the high point of the day. And if things are going to resolve, then some of these ferrous and non-ferrous stocks as well will do well. So the metal index should come up for you. Yesterday in late trade, we saw a surge. This morning, we had a bit of a downtick. Well, that index as well has moved up. Hindalco and Tata Steel leading the way. How do you trade the Nifty though from here? We're closer towards 11,900 mark. When we spoke to Ashwini at around 10:30 a.m., he did say, yes, you can go ahead and take a long position and keep a stop loss at around 11,850. Ashwini, are you revising that call? Targets as well as stop loss?
You don't make me sit for 2.5 hours. So I've taken my profits off.
Okay.
See, you have to book profits. It's not like it's a binary call that you stick around for the entire day. Particularly today is the third day of a consecutive rally. So yes, we can go up. Today's expiry, short covering, etc., etc. But if you made the day's money, this is a good time to take it off, particularly because chances are the shorts are have been covered more or less in the entire market. So index, you should be taking it off.
Okay.
And individual stocks, Balrampur Chini is a buy with a stop of 135, target of 150. India Bulls Housing is a buy with a stop of 635, target of 660. And Chola Investment is a buy with a stop of 287, target of 302.
Okay, Manav Chopra also joins in. Hi Manav. Manav, good afternoon. What are the stocks you're looking at?
Yes, my first pick is on SBI. The stock has been in a very structural changes. If you're seeing its pattern of last 10 years, it has seen a breakout decisively and has been moving on the upside with a series of high tops and bottoms. And when we're looking at the oscillators also on the high time frame, it's definitely indicating for all new momentum coming into SBI. So at the current zone, it has a series of support around the levels of 345. Recommend a buy into this with a stop of 340 on the lower side for an upside target of 410. My second pick is buy on Tata Power. The stock has been an underperformer in last 10 years, and if you're looking this chart on the monthly basis, it has formed a higher bottom after its 2016 lows, and also it is indicating a very strong bottom in place. There has been a weekly breakout into the stock a few days back with volumes and higher open interest, so it's definitely suggesting a range shift into the stock. So at the current zone, we recommend a buy with a stop of 66 for an upside target of 80. And my third pick is buy on Ultratech Cement. In fact, the stock has been in a very strong uptrend since past few months, and the stock has recently corrected from its recent peak and has bounced from its oversold levels and closing over with short-term averages, which is indicating a resumption of its original uptrend. We recommend a buy into this with a stop of 4,550 on the lower side for an upside target of 4,900.
Okay, all right. Thanks so much for that, Manav. Well, Ashwini, just wanted another, view from you, because the stocks that are surging in the last half hour odd is Tata Motors and Tata Motors DVR. Both of them have spiked to the high point of the day. Technically, how are these two stocks looking? Fundamentally, we know the problem is in China, but we've seen it bounce off these levels. Do you think the risk reward is favorable at these levels?
The problem is in their car, not in China or US or anywhere else. They weren't selling, they weren't killing it before the tariff wars. So, it's an underperformer. The sector is underperforming. Chances are it will keep underperforming. You'll have these sporadic rallies, but I don't think the problems will be gone. If you have to buy, there are other auto stocks which you can buy, two-wheelers, Maruti, etc. I don't think you want to buy Tata Motors.
All right, gentlemen, thanks very much for joining in and giving in your afternoon trades. But let's shift focus now to what can be expected in the budget. And ahead of that, CNBC TV18 has learned that the government is not considering privatizing any of the public sector banks. So while expectations on a new banking reforms roadmap in the budget or even outside it are running high, the government views the current environment is not conducive for PSB privatization. Sapna Das joins in with more. Sapna.
Hi. So two aspects here. First, of course, the important thing that you pointed out, that there could be announcements nevertheless as far as the banking space from the government's viewpoint is concerned. So it may either be in the budget or probably even outside the budget. We have to wait and watch and see what really comes out and the timing of that. So that's one. The second, of course, a clear indication coming in, at least as of now, the current macro environment is not at all conducive for any kind of a privatization, and that's a huge word, the big word that we're talking about. That essentially means, government bringing its stake lower than 51% in the PSBs. Now, there have been some talks, some reports coming out that possibly some of the weak banks or the smaller banks is what the government may look at, and there's a bit of a background here. If you look at the government shareholding in the smaller banks, I mean, that's extremely high post recapitalization, and for known reasons, because they were the weaker banks. They had to be, infused with a lot of money, and that's what the government has done. So 92 to 97% is where the PCA banks actually stand. Even the ones which have come out from that framework, the government shareholding is way above 90%. So all these things probably triggering the thought process, and with the 303 in the Lok Sabha. Expectations, are all over the place. But two clear viewpoints emerging that A, the financials of PSBs still do not support any kind of a privatization thought process. And B, of course, the Bank Nationalization Amendment Act is one area that will be a concern for them, because that process will have to change. You can't do it for one or two banks, it's the entire sector, and of course issues with the bank unions. Now, what will definitely we can expect is recapitalization of PSBs. Probably that policy continues on depending on merit and requirement. And last but not the least, even in terms of the minority stake sales in PSBs, here too, I suppose at the moment at least the government is treading a cautious road, simply because the financials of the PSBs are not really supporting that.
All right, Sapna, thanks so much for joining in and giving us all those details. Well, let's move on then. Our markets are holding with good gains. We're up close to around 50 points. But let's see what cues are coming in from the European markets. All those three frontliners, the CAC, the DAX and the FTSE, we should get the initial rates that are coming up for you. And there is optimism now that President Trump and, Chinese Premier, Xi will come up with a solution and that trade war will end. And on the back of that, a lot of these markets, they're bouncing up. Let's hope by the weekend that good news does come in, because for the time being, all those three indices are opening up in the green. We as well are moved to the high point of the day, sitting with a gain of around 50 points odd. We'll slip into a short break. We'll get you a slice of the conversation with Ritika Mankar of Ambit Capital, as well as Ms. Bharadwaj of Kotak Mahindra Bank on their expectations from the upcoming budget. Stay with us.